My husband is having an inappropriate relationship with the nanny in our marital home. I quietly took out my phone. I recorded the entire process. I was walking with my junior, but my husband said I betrayed him first. That day was Valentine's Day. I came home early from working overtime. I wanted to give him a surprise, but I saw the nanny in sexy lingerie. She was sitting on my husband's lap. She was playfully lifting his chin. She giggled and said, "Did Liam not satisfy you? You work so hard every day. She's not as charming as you." My husband glanced at the wedding photo on the wall. He scoffed and said, "There was no reaction at all on the bed. I saw them entangled together." I quietly took out my phone. I recorded this scene. Then I turned around and contacted the junior who has always had a crush on me. The junior received the message. "Junior, Pinewood Hotel, room 613. Are you coming?" As soon as he walked in, I wrapped my arms around his neck and kissed him. Our lips were tightly pressed together. We were sucking on each other. My hands slowly moved downward. I was about to unbuckle his belt, but he grabbed me suddenly. "Senior, wait a moment." Ethan quickly grabbed my wandering hand. He looked down and noticed my eyes were already red. Ethan had faint traces of tears in the corners of his eyes. His cheeks were flushed with a faint blush. His lips also looked more rosy. He asked softly, "Senior, is something wrong?" The atmosphere was broken. I let go of Ethan and sat down on the sofa. He lit a cigarette. Smoke slowly rose up. His expression was hard to discern. He slowly exhaled rings of smoke. Liam betrayed the relationship. In Ethan's eyes, there are some emotions I can't understand at the moment. He really doesn't know what's good for him. To do something like that with such a great senior, if it were me, I would definitely cherish my senior. I'd be with her every day. Ethan blinked. He tried his best to act like he knew nothing. After all, he is also a person in the business world. I completely understand this guy's thoughts. He had to deal with a few things for the collaboration with the Anderson Group. He just didn't expect that the first one to have a problem would be Liam. A message came through on his phone. It was sent by Liam. He said, "Honey, I prepared a midnight snack for you. When will you be back?" The picture was of the meal Liam had prepared. My nose tingled. I almost couldn't hold back my tears. Every time I work overtime and come home. Every time I work overtime and come home. Liam always prepares a late-night snack for me. I have always felt that we are in love. I didn't expect that I was just deceiving myself. Ethan leaned over to take a look at my messages. He smirked slightly. He said with a hint of schadenfreude, "Senior, would you like to try the dish I made? At least I won't be like some people who only knows how to use Golden Leaf's meals to deal with you." I frowned slightly. My eyes were filled with confusion. Ethan continued, "This stir-fried mixed vegetables and braised fish were both made by Golden Leaf." I couldn't help but self-deprecate. Liam has an improper relationship with the nanny. How could he let that nanny cook for me? Seeing that I didn't reply to the message, Liam sent another message. "Wife, you've worked hard. Happy Valentine's Day. This is the gift I prepared for you. It's a diamond bracelet, if I remember correctly. This bracelet should be part of a set." I opened my moments. The first post was a status update from Sophia. She wrote, "Thank you, husband, for the diamond necklace. This year's Valentine's Day. I still love you." The accompanying picture is of Sophia. Her neck was covered in purple bruises from kisses. There were sparkling diamonds hanging on her collarbone. I continued to read the messages Liam left me. A sudden bitterness filled my heart. I tried to calm myself down. Then, I contacted a lawyer to help me prepare a divorce agreement. Liam's messages kept coming in one after another. I had no choice but to go home first. Ethan held my hand tightly. His eyes looked at me with a hint of expectation. "Senior, will there be another chance to come to the hotel in the future? I will definitely cherish it." As soon as I walked in, Liam came over holding a bouquet of flowers. He said, "Happy Valentine's Day, wife." Then he leaned in to try to kiss me. I smelled an unfamiliar perfume on him. The taste is a bit strong. I gently pushed him away. "Speak. Happy Valentine's Day." His tone sounded a bit dismissive. Finished talking, he directly bypassed the other person. He walked into the room. As soon as he entered the door, he saw the strap of underwear exposed on the sofa. I closed my eyes. I shouted towards the small room on the first floor. "Sophia, how could there be underwear on the sofa? Is this yours?" Sophia hurriedly ran out of the room and asked. She was wearing a long-sleeved pajama set. The collar was buttoned very tightly, but in the moment she lowered her head, I still saw suspicious marks. As my gaze moved, The expressions of both changed immediately. Sophia quickly lowered her head. She whispered, "I'm sorry, ma'am. After I took a shower, I casually put my clothes on the sofa. I forgot to take them away." Liam frowned slightly, trying to ease the atmosphere. Sophia made a mistake this time. There definitely won't be this kind of situation again in the future. Right, hurry up and take your underwear away, that was said. He gave Sophia a glance, indicating her to leave quickly. Watching the flirtatious glance Sophia threw at Liam before entering the house, he felt increasingly uncomfortable inside. "Sophia," I stood behind Liam. Suddenly I asked, "Are you and Sophia very close?" Such an intimate way of addressing her. It seems they might have had unusual interactions more than once. Liam's body trembled slightly. He turned around and tightly hugged me, urgently shaking his head. He said, "Wife, I only have you in my heart. I just feel a bit sorry for Sophia. After all, you were the one who asked her to be the nanny." "That's right. Sophia is the one I found. I happened to have a meeting with Liam once. It's over there. We met Sophia. She is facing the risk of being sold because her father can't pay back the loan shark. She is at risk of being sold. I sympathize with her. I helped her out. I even let her come to my house as a maid. I didn't expect to be repaid with trouble. I brought trouble into my life. A wave of bitterness washed over me. Whether it's Liam or Sophia, I misjudged them both. While Liam was asleep, I picked up his phone and looked through it. There was nothing inside. It was completely clean. Then I opened his cloud storage. Unpleasant photos filled my view. They were all suggestive photos of Sophia. There were photos of her wearing bunny ears in a maid outfit and a nurse outfit, taken on site. Liam was gasping for breath while saying derogatory things about me. "Emily is so pretentious. She has no appeal in bed at all." That phrase pierced my ears like a dead fish. I bit down hard on my lower lip. I almost lost my balance. This is the first time I've seen Liam so open and assertive. When he's usually with me, he's always so gentle, even in those matters. I thought he respected me, but I found out he just found someone else he was more satisfied with. I held my phone tightly. The nails of my other hand almost dug into my palm. A sharp pain surged through my heart. I uploaded those photos to my phone. Then I carefully put them back in place. Liam suddenly embraced her. He said softly, "Wife, I really love you." A bitter feeling spread throughout my body. How could he do this with Sophia? "Liam, you crossed my bottom line," morning. "Sophia made breakfast in advance, but it's the soy milk that I'm allergic to." I pursed my lips. My expression was somewhat serious. I silently looked at Sophia standing in front of me. She clearly knows I can't drink soy milk. Is she doing this on purpose? Am I meant to be provoked? I stared at Sophia. She lowered her head. Her hands were tightly intertwined. I said coldly, "Sophia, you are fired. I will send you this month's salary later." After I finished speaking, I turned to leave. Sophia suddenly grabbed my knee. She was kneeling on the ground. She cried and said to me, "Ma'am, I was wrong. I saw you were too tired from working overtime, so I took the liberty to replace the coffee with soy milk." "Ma'am, please don't fire me," I frowned. I squinted my eyes. I looked at her coldly. Just then he asked, "Wife, what's wrong?" Liam's voice sounds a bit lazy. After seeing him, Sophia immediately knelt and approached to plead. "Mr. Liam, the lady wants to fire me. Can you help me plead my case?" After knowing the details, Liam's expression immediately became serious. He looked at me with some dissatisfaction in his eyes. "Wife, Sophia didn't mean it. There's no need to fire Sophia over this." "Right, besides, don't you like the dishes Sophia makes? If she leaves, W.Ho will cook for you." I watched Liam protect Sophia, his face showing no expression. Sophia was indeed serious about being a nanny at first. It's just that I don't know when the situation changed. As for the food at home, it became quite heavy for a while. Looking back now, I'm afraid it was because Liam was worried that Sophia was too tired, so I ordered takeout. Since then, I rarely go home for meals. Because of my stomach issues, I can't eat food that's too oily or salty, but these. Liam has completely forgotten about it. He didn't say anything when he saw me. Liam's tone became more urgent and harsh. "Emily, did you hear me? I told Liam not to fire Sophia, and I said Sophia would be more careful in the future. This is the first time he got angry with me over another woman. The promise made during our marriage. In the end, it still couldn't withstand the temptation from the outside. What else can I expect, enduring the pain in my heart?" I silently nodded. I had an idea in my mind. I turned around and left. I went to another property under my name, planning to find someone to clean it up. Unexpectedly, I ran into Ethan again. Ethan was leaning against the door, with his arms casually crossed over his chest. Looking at me, there was a hint of surprise and joy in his eyes. He said, "Senior, we meet again. Do you want to go to that hotel again?" I quickly stepped forward to cover his mouth. I signaled him not to speak carelessly. I felt a slight tingling in my palm. He actually gently licked my palm with his tongue. My face instantly turned bright red. I hurriedly stepped back. I almost fell at that moment. A strong arm firmly supported me. The man's scent hit me. I looked up and saw his Adam's apple moving. "I'm sorry, Senior." Ethan's voice came from above, deep and magnetic. "I just wanted to hug you a bit. Next time I'll dare to do this again." Ethan's sweet words made my face even redder. I quickly pushed him away. I pretended to say calmly, "I'm still a married person now. You better stay away from me, Junior. So when is the senior going to get divorced? Should I consider you for my next wedding? I'm not bad in terms of qualifications. My looks and figure are quite good. Are you interested in seeing my abs?" Senior Ethan's eyes slightly lifted. He winked at me. I was a bit at a loss. I pressed my lips together, seeing that I didn't respond. He grabbed my hand and moved it towards my lower abdomen. I quickly pulled my hand back. I glared at him a bit angrily. "All right, Senior. I know you're in a bad mood, Senior. There's a place where you can relax." But I didn't expect him to take me to a bar. I didn't expect that. Sitting at the next table were Liam and Sophia. Sophia was wearing a strapless dress. She was sitting on Liam's lap. Liam had one arm around Sophia, with the other hand holding a cigarette. At that moment, a few familiar voices sounded. "Brother Liam, does your sister-in-law know how much fun you're having out here? Are you not worried that your sister-in-law will find out?" "Not for long." Liam's voice rang out. It was no longer gentle as usual. Instead, it carried a serious warning. "No one is allowed to tell my wife. You all handle it yourselves." Liam let out a soft hum. It turned out Sophia was kissing his Adam's apple. Then his tone became relaxed. With a hint of joking, he said, "If it weren't for Emily being too serious, I wouldn't be looking for some fun on the side. To seek excitement, one still needs someone like Sophia." After saying that, he gently kissed Sophia's lips. At the same time, he softly caressed Sophia's buttocks. Once again witnessing evidence of Liam's betrayal, my heart sank suddenly, as if a piece of it had been forcibly gouged out. My eyes feel dry and uncomfortable. It feels like a cold wind is blowing in. It stings painfully. This pain spreads from my heart to my whole body. Ethan covered my eyes with his hand. He led me away. "Senior, don't look anymore." Ethan pulled me along. We left this place together. The wind blew by. I felt much more awake. My throat is a bit hoarse. I raised my head and quietly asked, "Ethan, do you have a cigarette?" Ethan gently wiped away my tears with his finger. Then he licked his finger lightly. His gaze at me carried a hint of temptation. He said, "Senior, smoking isn't that interesting, right?" Ethan struck an exaggerated pose, as if trying to attract attention. I no longer felt so conflicted inside. I gave Ethan a look. I pointed towards the inside of the bar. "Ethan, go get a bottle of wine. A moment in spring is worth 1,000 gold." Ethan said, hastily making his way to the bar. Before leaving, he even winked at me. "Big sister, wait for me." The cool night breeze makes me feel more awake. My relationship with Liam has reached this level. Let's just end it decisively. "Madam, what are you doing here?" Sophia's voice came from behind me. Her gaze at me no longer held the same humility as before. Instead, it carried a hint of pride and disdain. His face still bore the lingering desire. I asked, "I'm here. Do I still need to report to you?" Sophia slowly walked toward me. Her fingers lightly touched the kiss mark on her neck. She said, "I heard you're quite skilled in bed. I wonder when I can ask you for some tips." My expression gradually became serious, squinting at her provocative demeanor. Where does Sophia's confidence come from? Is it because of Liam? "Sophia, you should take care of yourself first. You think I don't know about you and Liam." The lingerie on the sofa was deliberately placed there, right? I stared at her coldly, as if watching a ridiculous performer. Sophia suddenly changed her expression, tears welling up in her eyes. She grabbed my hand and pushed it towards her chest. She shouted, "Ma'am, I was wrong. I shouldn't have ignored your words." She leaned back and fell down. I was just about to break free. Suddenly, someone pushed me from behind. I fell to the ground. When I looked up, Sophia was already in Liam's arms. I fell to the ground, looking quite disheveled. Liam asked, "Emily, what do you want to do?" Liam accused me. He stood above me, looking down at me. Sophia was nestled in Liam's arms. She gave me a provocative smile. Her tone sounded particularly weak, with a hint of innocence. I really didn't mean to upset you. Ma'am, please don't punish me, ma'am. I suppressed the discomfort in my heart. I calmly stood up. I asked Liam, Liam, how do you think the little maid is doing? Liam's expression suddenly changed. He released his hold on Sophia. He hurried towards me. His tone sounded very anxious. Honey, let me explain. Our relationship is not what you think it is. I let out a cold laugh. The relationship I imagined. Isn't it that kind of intimate relationship, or are you saying you took advantage of Sophia without paying the price? Liam's face turned ugly. It seems he didn't expect me to say something like this. I looked at him. This man who spends every day with me. Ultimately, he still disappointed me. I said calmly, Liam, let's get a divorce. Upon hearing me mention divorce, Liam frowned and said, Emily, stop messing around. You haven't even dealt with the issue of pushing Sophia. Liam stood by Sophia's side once again. I said nothing. I stood up. I walked directly behind him. I grabbed Sophia's hair. I pulled back. I shot a cold glance at Liam. I said, see clearly. Liam, this is what pushing looks like. I, Emily, have never done such a disgraceful thing. We've been married for 5 years. This is already the second time you've blamed me for someone else. After saying that, I ignored Liam's furrowed brows and Sophia's cries of pain. I turned and walked away. Liam grabbed my hand. I turned back and glared at him. Liam, let's part on good terms. Don't let me down. Once I got home, I was bombarded by a series of messages from Ethan, Sr. Where are you, Sr.? Have you forgotten me? The junior has been waiting for you with great difficulty. Sr., don't you want to touch some abs tonight? I tapped my head. Only then did I remember that I had forgotten about Ethan. Half an hour later, you come pick me up at Pinewood Villa No. 6. Okay, Sr. After sending the message, I looked around the home that Liam and I had decorated together. I felt a tightness in my chest. I packed my things. I threw away everything that needed to be discarded. As soon as I stepped out the door, I ran into Liam and Sophia. Liam looked a bit surprised when he saw me with my packed luggage. Looks a bit surprised. Wife, where are you going? I'll go make some room for Sophia. Liam quickly grabbed my suitcase. He said coldly, Sophia, shouldn't you apologize to the lady quickly? Sophia's cheeks turned slightly red, with a bruise on the corner of her mouth. He said, I'm sorry. Ma'am, I shouldn't have offended you. Seeing Sophia apologize, I found it meaningless. It takes two to tango. I took out my phone and played the video inside. As soon as the sound from the video played, Liam immediately broke out in a cold sweat. I looked at him and said calmly, Liam, the reason we divorced is that you cheated. I have a cleanliness obsession. When I found out you were with Sophia, that was the end for us. Liam's voice trembled slightly. Wife, I was wrong. He continued, I just made the mistakes that many men would make. I promise I won't make the same mistake again. Wife, the one I truly love in my heart is still you. Sophia is just a temporary distraction for me. You are the one I truly care about. Sophia listened to Liam's words. Her face suddenly turned pale. She was filled with disbelief. She understood in her heart. What a man says in bed is just talk. It can't be taken seriously. Hearing Liam's words, I felt a wave of discomfort in my chest. The humble gentleman I once liked now has become someone who only shirks responsibility. I couldn't help but mock him. Liam, you really drive me crazy. I will have my lawyer send you the divorce agreement tomorrow. As for my parents, I will go and explain it clearly to them. Just then, the younger student parked his stylish Maybach in front of me. Smiling, he said, Hi, Senior. The chauffeur you wanted has arrived. Saw Ethan. Liam's expression changed immediately. His eyes turned red. He stared at him intently. He seemed a bit impatient. He said to Emily, Don't blame me either. Who is this man? Is he the one you were looking for? You're not much better off. I shook my head. I looked at Liam coldly. Do you think everyone is as uncontrollable as you? Liam, don't let me down. The Liam I loved deeply that year gradually faded from my memory. Ethan got out of the car. He politely opened the car door for me. He slightly bowed and said, Princess, please get in the car. As soon as I got in the car, Ethan winked at Liam. He said with a hint of provocation, Thank you, Liam, for giving me this opportunity. Ethan took me to the house he had prepared in advance. He is 190 cm tall, leaning against the door frame. One hand is tucked in the pants pocket. His long legs are particularly striking. He looks straight at me. It gives me a sense of pressure. Ethan's voice is deep and powerful. It's completely different from his usual relaxed tone. Senior, have you considered me? I can be gentle and considerate, and I can also be strong and reliable. I'm just the right company when you're lonely at night. Hearing these words, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. The tension I had been holding inside finally released. From now on, I will be a brand new Emily. I looked up. I grabbed Ethan's collar and slowly pulled him closer. They slowly leaned in, until there was only a centimeter left between their noses. Ethan's breathing softly reached my ears. It had a hint of magnetism. It was heart-fluttering. Looking at him, my gaze became more fervent. I quickly pushed him out the door. I immediately closed the door. The senior is too tired. Let's talk about it next time. Ethan's footsteps gradually faded away. Only then did I breathe a sigh of relief. His straightforward way of speaking made it a bit hard for me to handle. On top of that, I'm still in a married state. My phone is full of WeChat messages from Liam. All of them are pleading. There are also several missed calls. I blocked them all. Liam's birthday, his favorite color, the brands of clothes he often wears. I gradually deleted all records of him from my phone. I stared at the empty album. My expression was a bit dazed. At that moment, my phone rang. It was my mom calling. You. I heard Liam say you two are getting a divorce, my daughter. We have watched you both come this far. Liam truly loves you. Don't give up on someone who loves you over a small issue. After all, they are a couple from a wealthy family. Liam has already done better than your father. I listened to my mom's words. I was taken aback for a moment. She wasn't wrong. Liam might love me, but he cares more about his own desires. All I long for is a sincere relationship. I came back to my senses. I said to my mom, "Mom, I've made up my mind. You don't need to persuade me anymore." The call was directly hung up. The phone rang again. A photo of abs appeared in front of me. There were a few drops of water on the firm 8-pack abs. The V-line was faintly visible. Suddenly, I felt a bit dry in my mouth. Then, Ethan sent a voice message. "Senior, good night. I had a good sleep." The next day, Liam indeed appeared at my new house door. "Wife, I brought you your favorite breakfast." I didn't expect Ethan to be here too. He pushed Liam away with one hand. "That guy, please make way. Don't block me." Although Liam is also 180 cm tall, but in front of Ethan, he still appears shorter. Ethan held the lunchbox with both hands. He was eagerly looking at me. "Say it. Princess, your breakfast has arrived. I made this myself. Unlike some people who only buy golden leaf meals for the senior to deal with you." Ethan's words hit the nail on the head. I found it a bit funny in my heart. Liam tightly pressed his lips together. Veins popped on his forehead. I couldn't tell if he was shy or angry. I took the lunchbox that Ethan handed me. My gaze towards Liam remained icy. "Liam, today the lawyer will give you the divorce agreement. Don't forget to sign it." Liam looked at me. There was a hint of pleading in his eyes. His lips are pale. "Wife, I have already made Sophia leave. Can you give me another chance?" "Go away." Ethan quickly pulled me into the car, worried that I might change my mind. I said, "Senior, a man who cheats is not worth keeping, Senior. You must find a good man who is clean and upright." Seeing Ethan talking nonstop, I suddenly had an idea. I deliberately lowered my voice, leaning close to his ear, whispering, "Oh, so where can I find a clean and upright man? How about letting Ethan introduce one to me? Or are you saying this man is Ethan himself?" The warm breath brushed against the man's earlobe. The earlobe instantly turned red. The redness slowly spread to his cheeks. Ethan seemed a bit nervous. His speech became less fluent. "Senior, you could actually consider me as well. I thought Ethan was someone who could handle situations well. It turns out he is actually a very simple-minded person." I relaxed and leaned against the passenger seat. "Let's wait for my sister to think about it some more." Ethan said beside me with a disappointed tone. "All right, if my senior sister is in a relationship, she should consider me first." Arrived at the company, I found Sophia waiting for me at the company entrance. She was dressed very shabby. As soon as she saw me, tears started streaming down uncontrollably. She knelt on the ground and pleaded, "Madam, I know I was wrong. Please don't fire me. I will definitely work hard as a nanny from now on. My parents are no longer around. Only you are willing to take me in. Only you are willing to forgive me this time. I will never make a mistake again." I stood by, completely unresponsive. Everyone was discussing animatedly. This woman really deserves sympathy. Emily is just too cold. She just made a small mistake. Emily wouldn't just drive someone away for this, would she? People often feel sympathy for those who seem to be at a disadvantage. I cleared my throat. I calmly stared at Sophia, then I spoke up to remind her. Sophia, I have all the photos and videos of you and Liam. If you don't want things to escalate, you'd better leave immediately. After all, I simply cannot forgive the woman who seduced my husband. I couldn't let it go. After I finished speaking, there was a moment of silence. Sophia's face suddenly turned red. She glared at me. Her eyes were filled with anger. It's all because of you. Liam wouldn't break up with me. She charged toward me, but was stopped by security. I blocked Liam's account, then I took a picture of Sophia and sent it to him, and said, "You have only half an hour to deal with her." After sending the message, he blocked her again. Liam arranged for someone to take Sophia away. He tightly held the divorce agreement in his hand. He slowly walked up to me. His tone was somewhat hesitant. "Can't you really think about it one more time?" I shook my head. I said calmly, "Liam, we've known each other for so long. You should understand my character. You are no longer innocent. Let's get a divorce." Liam's voice was hoarse. It carried a hint of trembling. He said okay. Then, he signed his name. At the moment I received the divorce certificate, I finally ended this marriage filled with betrayal. Liam just stared blankly at the small red booklet in his hand. He didn't say a word. His eyes were filled with regret and self-blame, as if he wanted to slap himself, but that no longer concerned me. Liam hesitated for a moment. He asked softly, "Emily, can we still be friends?" I shook my head. I didn't say anything. I turned and walked towards the intersection. Ethan was still standing next to the passenger seat. He opened the car door for me. He gently raised his right hand. The movement was graceful. He made an inviting gesture, with a smile on his lips. He said, "My queen, please get in the car." Ethan is up to his tricks again. I didn't expect him to take me to a Western restaurant. He let me sit in a chair. "Congratulations to the senior sister for overcoming the difficulties in marriage. Let me give you a gift. Please wait a moment, senior sister." After saying that, Ethan left. He had also booked the restaurant. Only I was left alone. Suddenly, the lights went out. A man with broad shoulders and a slim waist slowly approached me. My heartbeat gradually synchronized with his footsteps, until Ethan put on the wolf ears. There is a ribbon and a bell tied around his neck, with every step he takes. The bell rings once. I looked up. What caught my eye was Ethan's tight white shirt. The shirt is a bit thin. The top 2 buttons seem to have come off. It vaguely reveals his chest muscles and collarbone. Ethan is resting one hand on the back of the chair. He leans closer to me, lowering his head. The candle light flickers. The atmosphere becomes somewhat subtle. I licked my dry lips. I unconsciously swallowed. At that moment, Ethan's deep and charming voice rang in my ear. "Senior, you like this gift?" In the end, I couldn't resist Ethan's temptation. She grabbed Ethan's tie, leaning closer to him. She kissed him. Then, they quickly lay down on the bed together. Just having tasted the sweetness, she seemed a bit impulsive. Seeing Ethan's charming eyes, in the end, I softened my heart. I let him toss and turn me around. When I woke up, Ethan was holding 999 red roses. He was kneeling on one knee in front of me, confessing to me, "Senior, from the first time I saw you, I fell for you. I don't know if there will be another chance to walk with the senior forever." I was just about to reach out for the flowers when the blanket slipped down. I saw kiss marks all over my body. I grabbed a pillow and threw it at Ethan. "I don't want it. You should go." The confession didn't succeed. Ethan looked at me. His eyes dimmed. It seemed like he was struggling with complex emotions. She stood up and walked to the edge of the bed. "Since the senior doesn't agree, then let the junior find a way." The room was filled with the scent of spring. Just like that, I started a romantic relationship with Ethan. Ethan relies on me a lot. He sends me a message almost every few minutes before marrying Liam. I have never experienced such a passionate romance. He comes to the office every day to keep me company while I work overtime. He also brings me dinner and late-night snacks. He treats me so well. I've unknowingly gained a few pounds. I pinched the flesh on my belly. I helplessly said to Ethan, "Can you please stop making me delicious food? I've already gained weight." Ethan gently lifted my face and gave me a kiss. "Let me see where you've gained weight. You're not fat at all." After Liam heard that I was with Ethan, he came to find me again. He still calls me little princess like before. As a result, Ethan took me to have a little spar. Ethan had bruises all over his face. As soon as he saw me, he acted spoiled. "Wife, give me a hug." After saying that, he proudly looked at Liam. I watched as Liam's expression turned grim. After being hit a few times, Liam never appeared in front of me again. The Anderson family found him a new wife. These matters are no longer related to me. The little guy in my arms is particularly clingy. Not long after, Ethan took me to his house. I originally thought Ethan's family would oppose because I had been married before. To my surprise, Ethan's mom held my hand and took me to Ethan's room. She showed me the photos Ethan had secretly kept. That was how I looked in college. Ethan's mom said, "Ethan has always liked me," after hearing that I had a fiancé. He also cried sadly for quite a while. When Ethan heard this, his face instantly turned red. He quickly took my hand and left. It turns out Ethan had feelings for me long ago. Thinking of this, I tightly held onto Ethan's hand, gently lifted his chin, and kissed him. "Now that I can meet you, it's not too late yet.